Good evening. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Barnabas Brushes, episode 7. My name is Patrick. I play the character of Barnabas Quint on the Elite Encounters Soul Severed campaign, which you can catch every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. The banner for Elite Encounters is above me there, and then the preferred channel is below me down there. Be sure to check us out every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for a live play of Pathfinder 2nd Edition in a homebrew world. We currently are in a very bad position in that particular campaign. Definitely a cliffhanger going on this last week. Let's see what happens next week. Actually, a week after that. We'll talk more about that later. What are we doing here tonight? This is Barnabas Brushes. Here we paint miniatures to use for our Elite Encounters Pathfinder 2nd Edition live play. Hey, good afternoon, Peliquim. Welcome to the channel. Afternoon, yes. Yeah, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming. Uh, hey, Laura. Thanks for popping in. Nice to see you. As I was saying, this week on Barnabas Brushes, we are continuing to work through the Steamforge Games Epic Encounters kit, the Arena of the Undead Horde. We've been working on this for a few weeks now, and we're getting pretty well through the kit thanks to Army Painter Speed Paints. The Arena of the Undead Horde is a miniature set from Epic Encounters. Steamforge Games puts this out. It's a set of miniatures that come with a little flip mat and this booklet that has all the stat blocks you need for all the monsters that the miniatures represent, and a bunch of encounters to basically a little miniature adventure to run through. You could pop this into your campaign. You can run this as a one-off just to have some fun with some characters. It's written for the 5e D&D rules, but it's easily convertible to Pathfinder 2nd Edition or whatever fantasy RPG you happen to be playing. Good evening, Mike. Thanks for coming. Welcome aboard. We are ready to roll. Okay, so last week we started working on these Deathriders. We got the skeletal structure laid down. We got the armor, the mane and tail, and the barding, which for this guy we did a red. And if I'm remembering right, Pelican and Sunshine recommended something like a greenish yellow, or I think a yellow, almost uh, like a king in yellow kind of thing, which might be super cool. And I realized this guy needs a little bit more red now that I'm looking at him. Uh, it's always fun to step away from the desk and come back and catch what you need to maybe fix. There's also lots of trim on the armor that we're going to go over with some gold. And then we have the side to work over. And we've got two of these bad boys, so we still have the armor to work on this second Death Rider. So we have our work cut out for us. So let's go ahead and let's get it started. Okay. For the armor, we'll go ahead and start there since we were kind of started here, but then maybe got about halfway before we had to stop last week. So we'll continue through the armor there. For that, for most of these models, we are exclusively using Army Painter Speed Paints. For the armor, we're going to use the Enchanted Steel mixed with 1 drop of a dark wash just to kind of darken up the shadows a little bit. So we'll do a 2-to-1 of the Enchanted Steel and then a drop of Army Painter Dark Tone Wash. This will help seep into those cracks and really darken down. Yep, Sunshine, your favorite. And we can always take the wash over the top of the armor to darken it even more if we decide we want to make this guy a little bit darker in tone. In the last week, I've been catching some videos of one of my favorite painters online, Serratos. Serratos is a competition level painter. He's a professional painter. He does a lot of box art painting for various miniature companies. And he introduced me to a technique called uh, slap chop on slap chop or double slap chop. Basically, he would slap chop a mini, paint it up with speed paints like this. Once it was cured and dried, he'd re slap chop over the top of the speed paint and then hit it with a new layer of color to create even more tone and highlight. I never thought it was even possible, but watching some of his videos, I am amazed. And I'm going to experiment with some of that double slap chop technique on some of my own stuff. And then maybe we'll bring some of that to the, uh, maybe we'll bring some of that to the show. Yeah, so Laura, slap chop is a method of priming where you start off with black and then dry brush it up through gray and then to this white. You can kind of see the effect of this here on the base of this model where there's a lot of dark shadows but also bright highlights. That's created by layering or dry brushing on various primers. And it's affectionately known as slap chopping, which, yes, it does make you think of Hi, I'm Vince from Slap Chop, the little salad chopper. But yeah, it's a nice underpainting for these translucent speed paints to kind of create an additional level of shadow and highlight before you go painting. All right, so I'm gonna grab one of my good brushes here, and we'll get to work on some of this armor. We got most of this back piece done. All right, so we'll kind of start here. And this speed paint is a true metallic, so it does have fine aluminum metallic flake in it to basically bring shininess to the model, to recreate a metallic effect or metal. There's definitely some leather straps here that we'll have to go in and paint, holding this metal armor on. And we're just going to really go heavy-handed right over all the details and trim. That's okay, because once this dries, we'll come back on it with a different color of metallic to paint that trim and make this armor really kind of decorative. Pretty is too strong of a word, especially for an undead beast like this. Speaking of beasts, most of you guys were there last night for our face-off against some very bizarre elemental creatures. Very challenging and scary. I think Barnabas got hit harder than he has ever been hit in his life by one of those creatures. And it made him rethink his strategy choices, if not some of his life choices. But I was able to be healed and survive. I wasn't too worried. So Barnabas has more hit points than you would guess just looking at him. Yeah, it's definitely a great way to kick off the episode and really kind of jump into the action. Right, I got a little of this paint where I don't want it, so I'm just going to take a wet brush and brush it away. And then take a clean brush and wipe away what I diluted off. Okay. We still have a few pieces here on the shanks and the shoulders, looks like. And looks like that bracer. Looks like we already got the bracer. Good, good. Okay, so really just these on the shanks here. Okay, so that's it for the armor. We'll go ahead and let that dry down, and then we'll come back and hit some of those details on it, and also that barding uh, to bring that additional color to it. In the meantime, go back to this guy and just make sure we hit all the armor pieces we wanted to hit. Looks like there's a little piece right here. And then I did say we missed some red on here, so we'll go ahead and take care of that real quick. That was blood red, which looks like an orange color on the label. This label's not great. It definitely comes out with this kind of deep red. Oh yeah, okay, great. Yeah, it looked awesome. So yeah, good job. There we go. Right, that's looking pretty cool. So I think we'll start working on some of the armor detail on this guy here. And for the trim, I'm going to use this kind of deep gold color called Golden Armor from the Speed Paint line. This is also a metallic, so it does have metallic flake in it to give it that shine. This also has pigment in it that's like a brown pigment that creates the shadows. So it's like what you would do with a normal gold color, metallic gold. You would typically paint it on and then hit it with a brown wash to kind of create those shadows. Um, or start with a brown base coat and just layer it on, depending on your technique. This does it all in one go, but you can still play around with washes. Okay, so the first detail that we notice right away is this breastplate symbol here. This kind of eye looking emblem here. Just going to use the tip of the brush and run it along the surface of that emblem where it's sticking up off of the armor. Almost like a gentle tapping on those raised edges. There we go. And now there's definitely some gold trim on all of these armor pieces. So we'll just kind of follow along those lines. And this is more like a traditional layer painting technique here. It's like a little damage there to that edge. That's kind of cool. Kind of keep that. Some dings and dents in the armor. Gives it a level of realism. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, those it was cool to see those on the table. I haven't really had a chance to. I've used that Earth Elemental in my Giant Slayer campaign, as a kind of a random encounter. It's always fun when your models get to make it on the table, even for just a little bit before the players completely wreck and decimate the monsters. Such is the life of a GM, I guess. Spend a lot of time preparing and making scenery just right and miniatures just right. And you pop it all on the table, and the players kick its ass in an hour. We're faster. But that's fun. That's part of the game. Plus, the hobby itself of painting is and collecting miniatures is a thing all to its own. Just another level of enjoyment in this nerd subculture we belong to. Yes, pauldron. Right. Still have those shanks, but looks like we've got most of the trim up top here. Hard to see those back pieces. All right. It's a pretty clear shot there of some of that trim, that gold on that dark steel. Well, the actual fight was, I don't know, a few rounds, so that's like, 30 seconds at the most. But table time, it was about an hour of fighting those elementals. I've had some battles, some combat encounters last an entire 8-hour session and ended up to be continued because they were just very massive encounters. Okay, we do have these bones here on the bracer. That this little extra level of protections. We'll go ahead and paint those in with our good friend Pallid Bone. We use this quite a bit. Don't need a whole lot. Trying to figure out how to hold this guy. It's got these human bones here. They look like arm bones, like humeri, strapped down with some leather to our armor. So we'll get the bone color on there, and then when that dries, we'll hit it with some leather. And then we'll do the gold trim because there is the trim on the bracer too. Right. We're making good progress. And for this scythe, we'll go ahead and lay some color on the scythe here. You can see the top down of the model of the blade kind of follows the curve of the base. That's pretty cool. Yeah, 8-hour sessions. Uh, I have a group that meets only once a month if we're lucky, so we really try to get in as much as we can. We play for 8 hours. Um, yeah, that's what happens when you can't play every week. Okay, for let's see, I need my color that I wanted to use for the scythe here. I gotta find that. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, get a pizza break halfway through. Uh, and we have plenty of adult beverages throughout the day to keep us going, and or regular beverages, depends on the mood. But for the side, we're going to use bony matter, which is a darker kind of brown bone color. It's a little bit less kind of yellow than the other bone color. the pallid bone. Every time I grab one of these, I gotta shake it up because it has that those metal beads in there for mixing purposes, resuspending that pigment in the medium. Okay, there's another instance of accident waiting to happen. So I took my lid off, and oh, there's the tip. Okay. When I first took the lid off, the tip came off with the lid, so I could have spilt my entire bottle of paint. Want to try and avoid that. You got to be careful because you will be wiping lots of paint off your workspace. And I don't like wasting money, so I will get out a little pipette and slurp up as much paint as possible and put it back in the bottle. Oh man, a streamathon? Hmm, it could be fun, like a charity event or a subscriber drive. Okay, this particular color I'm going to lay on pretty heavy, uh, just to let it do its work and get lots of that pigment to go down into the model. Because the top color is fairly pale. When we get to here, there's some leather wraps around the haft of the side, so we're going to get that with a different color, like a leather color for that. And since we have some pallid bone on our palette, we can touch up some of the areas that need additional pallid bone, like these fingers back here that got missed. Okay, and back to this. Just really lay that paint on thick and it'll just do the work for you. Now, it looks like there's some metal bits, so we'll have to go back once this gets all dry and hit some of these areas with a metallic color. Which you can do with the 2.0 speed paints. Once they're dry, you can paint over the top of them, no problem. Get a little bit extra on the bottom half of the side so that it's more shadowed as it dries. Same thing over here. Okay. Well, I laid that on pretty thick, so I'm gonna give that plenty of time to dry before I start working over the top of it. But while I have this paint out, we'll go ahead and do our second model. Yeah, as we get older, it's a lot harder to do those marathon sessions. We tried to have a big, long, extra session one weekend for our Giant Slayer campaign, and it ended up just being an extra long Saturday. I was fully prepared to have all the dudes crash out at the house, and we'll, play until we couldn't play anymore and fell asleep wherever we sat or laid our heads. And real life caught up to us. Maybe one of these days. Okay, definitely some leather there. Here. Man, it's just so easy. You just load up your brush and just slap it on there, and the paint does the work. I need another drop or two of this. Lay it in a little extra heavy on the bottom half for more shadow as it dries. Okay. Yeah, yeah, real life catches up to you, and more and more responsibilities, less and less fun. But hopefully, when I hit retirement age and have plenty of time on my hands, I'll still be healthy enough of mind and body to enjoy these hobbies when I have plenty of time. And then, then I can play RPGs several days a week. All right. That's still got a lot of drying to do on that side before we play around with that. Maybe we can hit some of these leather belts and things. And my go-to for leather is hardened leather, which is from the Speed Paint 1.0 line. Evil, hey, welcome aboard. We're just laying down some colors on these Deathriders. Getting pretty close to finished. We're making some pretty good progress with these. And then it'll be on to the next little group of minis from this set. This set has a little tray, a little plastic tray insert in the box for all the miniatures to sit in and kind of protect them and transport. And putting the painted miniatures into the tray and putting that lid on it, it looks it looks so cool to see a finished project like making progress like that. Considering all of the works in progress I have on my desk here and in various closets around the house, it's nice to see something done and where it belongs. Little leather straps holding these shin guards on, these shank armor, I suppose if that's what you call it. And we can hit the leather straps here. All right. Want to pulling them off screen a little bit. Okay, so there's the leather for the the strap on the haft and some leather on the belts. This guy is almost done. Just have to hit the base. Speaking of, why don't we go ahead and hit the base while we're at it? All right, I think for the base we'll use mummified grime, which is kind of a greenish gray stone color. Uh, that'll contrast pretty nicely against the skulls and bones on the ground. Let's get another palette. All right, I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush so I can cover some more surface area faster. Because there's a lot of surface on the base here. So hit with this. Let me just lay it on pretty thick. and the paint will do the work. Right. Worse than hell, huh? Let's read back through the. Okay, we'll let this model dry for a while. Let's kind of set that over there. Excuse my arm. And we'll go back to this guy who's still got a lot more to go. We'll hit those leather straps real quick while I have some workable uh, leather. All right. And the leather straps on the armor pieces. Right. And I think we said we wanted to do like a weird greenish yellow for the barding here. All right, this color is malignant green. This is a greenish yellow, kind of a sickly color. Yeah, Hero Forge does have a sale going on right now on a lot of their prints. I'm not sure how much it's off though. I want to say 30%, but I could be wrong. Okay, let's give this a go here. Might add a small drop of ancient honey just to add a little bit more yellow to this. All right, experiment time. The pigments are fairly light in the yellow as well, so I'm going to lay this on fairly heavy. See if I can't get enough of a contrast with the bone. Hmm, it's interesting. So we now have a red rider and a yellow rider, I guess. Might do with another coat once this dries, just to really bring out the yellow of this. Yellow is such a hard pigment to work with. It usually does take a couple coats. One trick that layer painters will do with yellow is undercoat it with pink and then paint the yellow over the pink. And that really brightens and enhances the yellow pigment, and it shows up really well if you do that. So a weird trick, a weird color theory trick that seems to work pretty well. But at any rate, we have our yellow rider. Uh, oh, that sounds like the abyss. Hmm. Speaking of the abyss and chaotic evil creatures, don't forget that we are on the push right now here at Barnabas Brushes to 50 followers. So if you haven't already, please click that follow button to help support the channel. You'll get notifications when I go live if you have those on. Once we get to 50 followers here at Barnabas Brushes, I am going to give away a WizKids Beholder model. Not this white one here. This will be the model, but I'll paint it to your specifications should you be the winner. So once we hit 50, I will go through the followers and we'll randomly choose one of those followers to be the lucky winner of a custom painted WizKids Beholder model painted to your specifications. I know Mike said last night you can paint this Dalmatian style, I suppose, if that's what you want. If you want it, Miami Vice, teal and purple style, we can totally do that. If you want it, goth or a death metal, I could do a death metal beholder where it's like mostly white with like some black uh, um, death paint, whatever whatever you want, whatever you decide. If you're the winner, Halloween style, yeah, black and orange, yeah, could totally do that. If you're the winner and you want black and orange, just let me know. Weird putrescent green. The sky's the limit, right? I can color it however you want it. But you'll win this model, and I'll paint it up for you and send it out to you have in your collection. If you're not a miniature collector, still give us a follow. And, if you win, you can give it to somebody else. You can give it to your favorite DM or GM. You can give it to your kids, give it to your favorite gamer in your family. Whatever you want, it's up to you. Just get us to 50 followers, man. That's all I ask. Anyway, we'll work on that. Be sure to tune in. I'm not sure. Oh, I lost an eye stalk. That's the cool thing about this model. The eye stalks are removable and customizable, so you can add in eye stalks that have spell effects coming out of them. Uh, so yeah, I'll have to put that back together a little bit later. But before we go, be sure to check out. I'm not sure tomorrow night if Overwatch is going to be streaming, but if he does, he's on at 8 o'clock Eastern, playing some interesting horror survival games, or Call of Cthulhu. It depends on whatever mood he's in. I'm going to have to really start watching those. That's usually my dinner time. So, but I'm going to try and tune into Overwatch's show. I'm going to bet he's not on tomorrow night, but you never know. Uh, if he is, great. Be sure to join him. Be sure to give him a follow. And make sure you have a safe and fun holiday tomorrow with family, if that's your plan. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. So Monday at 5 o'clock, right here, Barnabas Brushes. I'll be working on some of my own stuff. And then Tuesday, Psychic Promise is back for our kind of once a month campaign. So you can tune in and be sure to give that a watch with Mike behind the GM screen. It's a great show. And then I'll be back Wednesday for more Barnabas Brushes, working on these Deathriders. Hopefully, getting these guys done and ready to put in the box. So be sure to tune into all those shows. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, watch the videos on demand on YouTube. If you can't sit in front of the screen, that's all right. Check us out on podcast. You can catch up on the Soul Severed campaign anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Just search for Soul Severed and listen to those old episodes. We've added in some interesting music and other things to those episodes, so be sure to check them out. They're a little bit different than what we were live. So, at any rate, we'll see you next time. Have a safe and happy holiday. Have a great extended weekend if you get to have time off. And enjoy yourselves. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Good evening.